Good evening. My name is Lamin Jai. This is News Review. Thank you for joining us today, 9th November 2021. President Adama Barrow begins his campaign. We have a report for you on that. But also the IEC spokesman is speaking exclusively to the Fatu Network regarding 6 candidates who have appealed their rejection. U.S. Ambassador Richard Paschall also has been speaking to us exclusively regarding this election. More of all of that, but before we get into the show proper, we will look at the newspapers. And quickly, we'll begin with the Standard newspaper. Melvin Roberts sues government for $500,000 US. That's about $25 million. Sorry. A former director of American Affairs at the Foreign Ministry, Melvin Roberts, has taken Gambia government to the ECOWAS court for violating his right to access fair hearing, privacy, and right to work under equitable and satisfactory conditions, among others. So Melville is seeking $500,000 US in damages there. Banki will not appeal rejection. Presidential aspirant Bankole Yao Ahadji, whose nomination was among those rejected by the IEC on Saturday, has said he accepted the decision in good faith and will not make an appeal. Uncertainty over election causes low tourist arrivals. The chairman of the Gambia Hotel Association, Francis Njai, has appealed to the National Assembly to consider moving future presidential elections from December to a period outside the tourist season due to concerns of political uncertainty that could have a significant impact on the tourism industry there. The Point newspaper today is reporting that the SIS, that is State Intelligence Service, boss says Gambia remains calm as he begins national security tour, saying as part of the ongoing efforts coupled with continuous security assessment of the country, Usman Sow, the Director General of the State Intelligence Services, has stated that the country remains calm as it begins a national security tour. So we will leave it at that for the newspapers. We will take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. So campaign is official. Candidates who will be standing in the election that's next month have started engaging Gambian voters. Today, President Adama Barrow headed out. He left State House and crossed over to the North Bank, where he would hold meetings in the Nyomis. More in this report.
Ahead of the 4th December presidential election, President Adama Barrow, leader of the National People's Party, has embarked on a 2-week nationwide campaign. President Barrow, in a rather joyous mood today, left the comfort zone of the State House to meet voters as he seeks re-election in December.
Today is the first day of our campaign, and we are getting ready to go all out to campaign for votes all over the country. And we have a very, very strong team. Our confidence is very, very high, and we are happy that the media is covering us. We want everybody to see what we are doing, and we want the Gambian people to listen to our message. Our message is positive, and I think we have a lot to offer. My first meeting, I will break a very, very important news at my first meeting, because we have something for the Gambian people.
During this campaign period, the president will use the opportunity to sell his agenda to the voters, like every other candidate will be doing in the coming weeks. As he drove from the State House, supporters emerged from every corner of the capital, Banjul expressing their firm support. The NPP supporters, together with other parties who recently endorsed the NPP, are optimistic that the incumbent is the right leader for this country.
I'm feeling happy because sun president ñu dem to xamna ku bax la ku mol mom yarum xal ba mo kawle do ku la dem so wala dem brada noma es da adam baro hinna baro kayla baro ay bam ko yiri woni wala dem to ba ko mole 100%. Yes, we baro.
The president was later escorted to the ferry terminal where he made a brief stop and observed prayers with religious leaders before leaving Banjul for Nyomi. Reporting for the Fatu Network, I am Dauda Balde.
Welcome back. So today I was at the IEC to speak to the spokesman there. 6 candidates, Dr. Ismail Assise, Maifati, ANRD's Lamin Bojang, that is General Lamin Bojang Pavafal. These are all candidates, Alhaji Mamadi Kurang, they've all, Maifati of the GMC, they have all appealed the decision of the IEC to reject their nomination. But their appeals have been dismissed by the IEC. Let's take a listen to what Pa Makan told me today. Thank you, Mr. Makan, spokesman of the IEC. Thank you for speaking to the Fatu Network. So we have a few questions for you. One has to do with the candidates who were rejected but are not happy with their rejection. They have put in an appeal. Maifati, we understand Dr. Ismail Assise, and also Alhaji Mamadi Kurang. All of these leaders have appealed the decision by the IEC to reject them. What is the state of their appeal?
Actually, they had rights to appeal. You know, there is this decision taken by the returning officer after the nomination. This, of course, follows due process. And actually, you have two processes involved. One deals with the returning officer who vets through the nomination papers, and then he has to satisfy himself that all the legal requirements have been met. That's one part of the equation. Then the other part of the equation is that the general public are also allowed in to come and scrutinize the documents, the nomination papers, which some people did. There was a period of public scrutiny which happened just on Saturday. Was it on the 6th? Then upon which I think 3 people raised objections. However, those objections were disregarded for lack of merit. So then consequently, then the returning officer had to decide on those people accepted and those people rejected. And of course, we know already some people had already withdrawn, or they've already cancelled their nomination process, which included 5 candidates, which included the GFA, the APP, and other 3 independent candidates. Okay. Then also, after the conclusion of the nomination process, then the returning officer had to publish, is required by law to publish the decision, which he did, you know, by doing a press briefing with the press. And I think most of the press media houses were invited to this program, and most actually attended. It was well attended. Then subsequently, you know, people who thought, or candidates or aspirants, I would say, who were not satisfied with the decision of the returning officer, you know, as provided under the Electoral Act, you know, has the right to appeal against the decision of their rejection of their nomination papers, which they did. I think we are about 6 candidates that appealed the decision of the returning officer. And then by law, this has to be done within 2 days of the decision of the returning officer, which actually they did, including CA, including GMC and GDC, and other independent candidates, or other independent aspirants, I would say, including Paschall, Makan Kurang. So these aspirants actually appealed against the decision of the returning officer, which of course was reviewed by the commission. Like, this is the process that, following the dissatisfaction of the decision of the returning officer, then they can apply in writing, which they did. And this was sent to the commission, which did the review. And subsequently, the commission disregarded their appeals for lack of merit. So that's the way the process unfolded.
So in terms of some of the leaders, the aspirants, Dr. Ismail Asise, for example, CA, then you have Makan Kurang, all of these people were rejected because you said they could not collect at least 200 signatures, specifically from Banjul. But if you talk to Dr. Ismail Asise, he tells you he has given at least 290 signatures from Banjul. So at the level of the IEC, how did you come to the conclusion? Do you have evidence, proof to show that they in fact did not have up to 200 signatures from Banjul?
Yes, I would say the commission, the nomination papers presented by those candidates, including the CA, including the GMC, including other independent candidates, including Makan Kurang, including Paschall and others, there is documentary proof of the decision of the commission, because after making a review of the nomination papers, they could not meet up the legal requirements of 200. And of course, you know, this is a legal process, and of course the Electoral Act have prescribed documentation that these aspirants are supposed to use, and not only to use, but also to use them accordingly. Okay, so some even didn't use the documents accordingly. Like, you are an independent candidate, how can you present the nomination papers of a political party that you intended to register, but that couldn't be registered? So I think here it means we are like mixing apples and oranges here. You see, if you are independent, you have to provide documentation as an independent candidate. Okay? And if you are sponsored by a political party, you have to strictly provide documentation under the banner and under the authority of that political party. This is one side of the show. And then coming back to the issue of Banjul, fine, of course we know Banjul is a small city. And then this happened that you have two candidates, you know, vying for Banjul. Like, too many candidates trying to get the adequate support from Banjul in terms of support for nomination. So possibly, we know, this could have been a challenge for some of the political parties or some of the candidates. And then when it comes to the issue of CA, I have to say that the number of supports, fine, you can provide much more number of supports. But also the law says that you have to make sure that the person that first nominated the candidate is counted. Like, you can see somebody supporting the nomination paper of more than 2 or 3 candidates. So in this case, the law prescribes that the first paper received would be counted, and all the subsequent papers would be deleted in respect of that voter, or in respect of the support of that voter. So in most of these cases, these were some of the reasons. Like you see, Samba would nominate CA, would nominate UDP, would nominate GMC, and other parties, for example. This is just an example. So in this case, the 4 people received would be counted. And we're using this Excel system that once that number has been captured on the Excel sheet, and then if the same number is punched,
appears again.
Yeah, so it will definitely no.
So you delete it, you cancel.
Yeah, this number have already been inputted. So then subsequently, that number in that person's nomination papers would be cancelled. So by doing that, most of the supports went down. And then, of course, to a point that some cannot even meet the 200 threshold. So this is one side of the story.
So you are dismissing their appeals. Now, what are they telling you? Are they still not happy?
Well, some...
because I've seen my party walk out.
Well, some are not happy, but, the commission is just trying to, follow due process. And also the commission is also trying to act in accordance, to the relevant electoral law, under which it has to implement fully, and also to the letter. So that's it.
And then one of the candidates, you accused him of forgery. That is a serious, because you cannot have people trying to steal their way to the presidency. That is a crime.
Absolutely.
You said
absolutely.
That is why you rejected him. You detected forgery and then you rejected him. Are you doing anything in terms of prosecuting him for this crime? Or you are just going to let it go?
Not prosecuting for now. Like, we focus on the nomination, which have already elapsed. And now, currently, we are focused with the campaign. Okay, and then in terms of the laws, it says accept or reject. So this is the point. This is the position of the commission for now. Then coming to that candidate, that is the GAP. The commission noticed a lot of fraudulent nomination papers. That is up to a point that some authorities in the legislature, were purportedly nominating, that candidate, the GAP candidate. And of course, we know those authorities belong to another political party. So I would say this is unthinkable. Okay? And not only that, like having, dubious, having the nomination paper done in a dubious manner. For example, of course, we know maybe, okay, some families may all be or Cisse, or Man, like they arrange in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
So how do we expect all those people, who have nominated somebody, to be all ba. So I think there was some form of systematic fraud in the whole process. So for which reason the nomination paper was rejected. And of course, still coming to electoral fraud, there is also a further provision on that. But for now, I would say the commission is focusing on the issue of nomination. And accordingly, the commission had to accept or reject. So in this case, the commission, for now, have rejected that party's nomination papers.
And now the candidates that you cleared, 6 of them, how did you arrive at the decision? Because some of the candidates that were there, even from here at the IEC, there were rumors. Less than 24 hours before the press conference and the announcement, you have rumors that, okay, or allegation that IEC disqualified Dabo. And then the next day, IEC holds a press conference to say Dabo is qualified. So you have a lot of talk around some of the candidates.
Yeah.
How did you arrive at the decision that all of them have passed the test?
Yes, it's good that you just say rumors, huh? And it's also good that you just say allegations. I think these are mere speculations. The commission is focused, and I would say was focused in implementing the law. All right, irrespective of somebody's opinion, irrespective of fake news, or irrespective of any other ulterior motive, the commission made sure that, I have to tell you, the commission consisted of, very credible Gambians, and Gambians who have worked so hard and so tirelessly for this country. So I would say they have no ulterior motive to qualify any person or to disqualify any person. I think I have to make this categorically clear. That what came to play was strictly abiding by law. That ABC, submit ABCD, you submit, you are accepted. Submit ABCD, you only submitted AB, you couldn't submit C, you are rejected. I think this is,
very clear.
Very clear. So if you have other issues, or if you are disqualified, or if you want to express, other opinions, it's your right to do so. But what I can say is that this process had been very transparent, and of course very rigorous this time round, to make sure that whoever is accepted on merit, and also whoever is rejected based on his or her ability to meet up the legal requirements. So I hope this is very clear.
How much money is the IEC spending in this election? Elections can be expensive everywhere in the world.
Money, I won't go to that, because that's for the finance.
Now also, we know campaign starts the day, the campaign program is out, 6 candidates. I mean, how did you reconcile the campaigns? All of the candidates, 6 of them, it's a big number.
Very good.
Yes.
Good question. This has been a big job for us. This was started 2 days ago and was concluded yesterday at midnight, around midnight, I would say. So it's a process like we invite all the candidates or their representatives. So they each send 2 representatives. So the representatives, like, we will invite 2 from each party. So the 2 representatives, will work within themselves as a team. Then they would, indicate their campaign program, and then we'll compare it with that of the others to make sure that, they don't clash. Of course, sometimes, in their programs, they will clash somewhere. But where this happens, then they have to negotiate. It also includes a lot of negotiation. This campaign itinerary. Yes, I think this is one of the most difficult jobs to do during the campaign process, to make sure that every candidate is given equal time. Every candidate is provided the opportunity to canvass for votes anywhere in the Gambia, and also to make sure that when that candidate is at a particular place, there is no other candidate in that location. So I think the basis of this is to ensure peace and security during the whole campaign process, to make sure that when the campaign starts, each party knows where the place you should be and at what time you should be there. And further to that, maybe the provinces is another thing. But the urban area, I think, was the most difficult thing to do, because the candidates had to provide us routes. They had to indicate to us what routes they are taking to a particular campaign meeting, and then which route are they taking back. So I think reconciling this, was also a very big challenge for us. And of course, sometimes when, there is a stalemate, like you may see in some instances, when 2 or 3 candidates would all choose the same venue at the same time. So sometimes, nobody wants to let go. Just for example, the buffer zone, as an example, or the Independence Stadium. So some of the landmark venues, Independence Stadium, the Banjul Arch, the buffer zone. So some of those venues, all candidates, eye those venues. So at times they all choose this place at the same time, such that you have to make sure that there is one to hold a rally in that place. So it's where that we have to, negotiate with them to make sure that they give it to one. And maybe others, they can choose another venue, or they can choose another date, just to make sure that they are given equal opportunity.
For them to all of them to.
Exactly.
Do you have a piece of advice now that we are officially in campaign period? Does the IEC have any advice for the leaders and their supporters?
Very well, very well. Just to advise that the electoral campaign has started, and of course, campaign, as with all other electoral activities, the campaign is also, bounded by law. There are provisions, that tell us what to do during the campaign and how to do our campaign. Especially this goes to the candidates, that they subscribe, accepted to implement the code, which is the campaign code of ethics. This is the law or the regulation that guides political parties or candidates as to how to do their campaign during the campaign process. So just urging them to make sure that they fully comply with the code of campaign ethics. Of course, this is a regulation, or this is a law that advises candidates or political parties to make sure that they campaign peacefully, and that they do not slander anybody, and that their supporters do not destroy, do not intimidate, or do not harass any other person, because it's everybody's political right, to engage in the process. So do your campaign peacefully, and let others do their campaign peacefully. So in this regard, just to urge them to put their supporters in check, because of course the same campaign code of ethics also mandates the IEC, give power to the IEC to cancel that person's nomination, or even to cancel the registration of a political party. So of course this happens, when there are gross violations of the campaign code of ethics. So I hope we won't come to that. So, but just trying to urge them, the candidates, and also the Gambian public, that let them stay calm, let them support responsibly, and also let them maintain and nurture the peace the Gambia is known for, the world over.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Makan, Mr. Khan, for speaking to the Fatendo. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.